guys, it's that time of the year. Madden kicked off the video game sports season, which means it's time for basketball and hockey fans to enter the arena too. If you're more into anime or action-adventure though, don't worry. This episode of New Releases has something for you too. Let's check out some of the biggest games launching this week. In fact, let's start with a little bit of action-adventure with Shadow of the Tomb Raider. It picks up just a few months after the previous game, where Lara is racing against Trinity to stop a Mayan apocalypse. But as the name implies, things are gonna get very dark this time around, making Lara question if she's been complicit in some of the things she's been fighting against. As for the gameplay, you can look forward to revised swimming controls, stealthier combat options, and a whole bunch of tombs to raid. That's all happening on PS4, Xbox One, and PC on Friday, September 14th. But earlier in the week, NBA 2K19 is tipping things off. It's the 20th anniversary of the basketball series, and if you missed the old on-fire mechanic from the previous games, you'll be happy to know the new takeover feature is very similar, letting any player dominate the court with their specific playstyle. Stealing, one-on-ones, and shooting have all been reworked too, and this year's story mode, called The Way Back, will actually send your player to China. You can see what that's all about on PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Nintendo Switch on Tuesday the 11th. Switch is also getting a pretty sweet port this week with Bastion. This action RPG has you journeying through an isometric world as you work to rebuild the Bastion itself. You can also use resources to buff your weapons, and there are all sorts of weapon combos and special attacks for you to unlock. And did I mention the whole thing is narrated by a gruff old guy named Rux? You can hear what he has to say on Thursday the 13th. And sorry Overwatch fans, this may be the only time you hear the phrase Bastion on Switch. And now a little something for the anime and manga fans. Black Clover Quartet Knights is based on the Shonen Jump series of the same name, where a young boy born without any magic powers works to gain those abilities and become the legendary Wizard King. From a gameplay perspective, that means you'll be engaging in third-person magic battles, using a team of melee, ranged, defense, and healing characters. You can even team up with friends to take on others online in 4v4 combat. That's all happening on PS4 and PC on Friday the 14th. Okay, one more sports game before we close out. NHL 19 is taking advantage of EA's real player motion technology to make sure skating, passing, and shooting feel better than ever. And for the first time, you can take the action to the natural ice with pond hockey matches. You can even take on 2 other players in 1v1v1 free-for-all matches. There are also tons of options for customizing how your character both looks and feels on the ice. You can check them all out on PS4 and Xbox One on Friday the 14th. And those are some of the hottest games we'll be playing this week. As always, remember that release dates are based on retailer listings and are subject to change. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll be back with more September games next Sunday.